And here we go. So welcome everybody again to the expanded CodeMonkey offerings webinar. Really excited to talk about that today. And so just before we get started, really important to make sure that you're following us on any form of social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're always posting not just marketing and branding and things like that, but also really educational information, whether it has to do with the latest news in artificial intelligence, or about coding itself, or just general knowledge. We post blogs. We have different interviews and with really interesting people. So it's a great, not just hub to learn about CodeMonkey, but also in general to understand and learn about the world of STEM and computer science, whether it's in the United States or also across the world. So this is what we're going to go over today. We're first going to start for those of you, because we did have a webinar last week for all of our current CodeMonkey users. This webinar today is for those who are not currently subscribed. Maybe you have a trial with CodeMonkey, but fully subscribed, whether it's a classroom, multiple classrooms, a school, or a district even. So we're going to go over what's CodeMonkey today for those of you who don't know as much. Discuss our pathway to learning, sort of just the general curriculum and how we've built out CodeMonkey. As you can see in my corner over here, it says the number 10. We've just celebrated 10 years at CodeMonkey, so we have a lot of experience in this space, and things that have changed, and also have had the opportunity to build a full coding curriculum, which we will talk about today, not just K to 8, but also high school, which will be one of the focuses of today. And we'll go over a little bit of that. Sneak peek at our new course offerings. I wouldn't say just a sneak peek, but we're going to delve into them, why we've added them to our, for Code Monkey, what are we adding non-coding courses and how that connects to each other. And then moving forward, if you decide that what you hear today about Code Monkey and about our usual offerings and our even expanded offerings, how to properly bring CodeMonkey to your organization, whether you are a school, district, an after-school program, an online school, or anyone else who is joining today. Again, we have a Q&A here. Feel free to write any questions. Molly is on to answer anything that you need help with. So let's get started. So first, what is CodeMonkey? And this is something I've never written before. I've been at CodeMonkey now for 8 years. And CodeMonkey is a leading pre-K to grade 12 or 12th grade platform for teaching coding and digital skills in a fun and interactive way. So this is really, really important. Over the last 10 years, we're now into our 11th year. CodeMonkey has had the absolute pleasure and success in creating coding specific courses for elementary and middle school, but it says grade 12 here. So we'll get into that as well. What's really important about what we've been doing over the last 10 years is that when we say that we've built a variety of courses in computer science, we're talking not just about the types of courses, but also the age ranges, what we are teaching in there, the topics that are covered, anywhere from coding, digital literacy, and even typing, which we'll speak today. But even just within coding, we're covering block-based, text-based coding, Python, and so much more in terms of what we're doing. What's really important also is that it's not like we just developed CodeMonkey, a coding platform, but we specifically had schools as well as teachers and obviously students in mind. And that's a really important point. CodeMonkey was built, it is used by millions of kids at home, but CodeMonkey, first and foremost, was built for schools to be used in a school environment. And when we talk about schools, teachers, one of the specific things about that is we have a focus on enabling any teacher, regardless of their computer science background. Maybe they've never taken a computer science course. Maybe they studied in university. It's irrelevant. Maybe they're the newest teacher. Maybe they've been teaching for 40 years. Regardless, we've had every single type of teacher in mind, every single type of school in mind, and most importantly, what does the student? And we have visited schools using CodeMonkey all over the world. And if there's one thing I for sure can say with full confidence is that every student who approaches CodeMonkey absolutely loves it. And that's a really important thing that we're doing. So we have a really detailed pre-K to 12 curriculum. We've aligned with many standards. We've aligned with the ISTE standards, CSDA standards. We've also aligned with many of the different states' computer science standards, those that have some more fully aligned with, some less, but that's something which we've really tried very hard to ensure that schools across the United States have the ability to use our program and know that they are covering not just CodeMonkey curriculum, but also the standards and curriculum in their specific states. And as I mentioned before, the no prior computer science experience needed to teach. That is a significant aspect of what we're doing. And one of the major reasons why so many schools have adopted CodeMonkey in the past. So this is our pathway to learning, otherwise known as a curriculum. And this is really important and something which I'd like to stress because it is quite different from what other organizations may be doing. So if you are especially a K to 5 teacher and even a middle school teacher, you definitely have heard of block-based coding. It's the drag and drop. It's based many use based on Blockly. You have companies like Scratch and code.org. And the idea here is that most schools, because either one of two reasons, I would say are the main reasons, obviously there may be others, those schools that either one, don't have a budget set aside, so there are free programs, or don't have the confidence either in their teachers or the teachers don't confidence in themselves to teach how to code. So they will rely on the block-based coding courses. Block-based coding courses are very important for an introduction to coding. It's the theory, it's the computational thinking. It's what I usually like, the example I give. It's like teaching a language. It is teaching language, but it's like teaching English, Spanish, French, whatever language you are learning, there's the grammar and there's the written component. And everyone here in this webinar knows that when we teach languages, we never just teach grammar by itself. We always have the theory combined with the skill together. When it comes to coding education, though, it's not the case. Most schools are focused on block-based coding, which covers the theory, otherwise known as computational thinking, the knowledge base behind coding. What it doesn't teach you when you're only focused on block-based is how to write code, which is ultimately, if you're going to be taking computer science in high school, and even further than that, you will be, and even with the advent of AI, it's still having to know how to write code. And that's where we go to the next phase. So we start with block-based in K to 2. The idea being we want to introduce them, we want to make it simple. Some of those students don't have a hard time reading at that age. So we've given block-based courses that don't need any writing whatsoever, and you don't have to read anything. And even the early block-based courses that you do need to read, we have narration tools and things like that. But what's really significant about CodeMonkey and what we're doing is the fact that we transition to text-based coding, to writing code by the time they're finishing second grade or starting third grade. And this is something very unique that we are doing at CodeMonkey. We have created age-appropriate and easy to teach text-based coding courses in order to provide our students with the ability to not just understand the theory and the computational thinking, but also have the ability to put that theory into written form and be able to write code. And we do it in the most gamified, exciting, fun way possible. And I'm always very clear to say, we don't have games. CodeMonkey has gamified courses. We've used our 10 years of experience to build up that knowledge of how to use gamification to properly engage kids, not just so they should be excited, right? We want the kids to be excited, but it's so important we don't leave it just at the excitement, but they actually learn how to write code. And that's really what we're doing. So you can see there, we go to text-based with Coding Adventure and Dodo Does Math, and then we move into advanced coding and creation. So many of our courses, and I'm not doing a deep dive into the actual product and to the courses themselves today. If you are interested in that, we will definitely share our emails in a follow-up email to all of the attendees here, where you can then be connected to a CodeMonkey rep like Molly or myself and be able to explain and even provide you with a full in-depth demo for you and any of your colleagues that you like. So the text-based approach we learn, and then we go into advanced coding and creation, where they take that game-based approach, and then now actually students can build their own games, challenges, and even chatbots. So you can see here, for example, Banana Tales. That's a coding course where they're learning through playing, they're editing code, they're building up their knowledge base, and then they go and they build their own chatbot in Python. And that's our 8th grade course. And that's where we stopped. And normally, when I would ever be demoing CodeMonkey, what I always like to show is our advanced Python course for 8th graders. And normally this is the face that teachers give me when I show them this. Meaning they're in disbelief. They cannot believe that our students are able to do the advanced Python that we have in our platform because they're so used to the easier block-based programs that they have. However, that was what we were trying to do. Our ultimate goal, CodeMonkey never marketed or said, learn CodeMonkey, you'll be able to develop websites. Learn CodeMonkey, you could create an app. Our goal was to properly align with the standards in the United States, teach kids how to code in order so that when they get to high school, they will feel comfortable taking, whether it is an AP course, whether it is a regular computer science course. We want to properly teach them how to code in order so that when they get to high school, they will continue to do so and feel comfortable. And this way, we treat coding and computer science exactly like other subjects that you learn, whether it's science, math, English, history, geography, so on and so forth. Nobody in schools, we don't teach math in order for them to be mathematicians. We don't teach them science so they become scientists. We hope or go into that direction, but what we're really focused on, here is, sorry, just wanted to make sure that was working on my end, and now I can't get rid of this. Sorry, we're going to just go back a little bit. What we're really trying to do is make sure, just like in those other courses, we're not expecting them to become experts in that field, become mathematicians. Same thing with coding. We don't expect them to become software developers by the time they're high school or anything like that. So that's where we get into the high school, where we've now developed, and I'll jump into that very shortly, into the high school courses. And so this is, I know it's a long-winded background before the purpose of this session, which is to go into our new course offerings, but I really wanted to stress what we are doing with CodeMonkey K-8, providing schools, districts with an organized way of approaching coding, where you can have courses year over year over year that don't skip steps, that are easy to launch, that are fun to engage, and easy for teachers to teach. So now our new course offerings. Now this is very, very exciting. What we have noticed, what we have noticed in at least the United States as well as globally, is that many schools do not necessarily have a coding class. If you do, great. But many, and I just got off a meeting actually, where many of the classes where they learn coding are part of a larger class called technology, or maybe you call it STEM, something else. And as a result, we have developed full offering K-8 for typing, full offering K-8 for digital literacy, which we already actually had a few digital literacy courses. And then ultimately, which we are super excited about as well, is our new high school coding offerings, which is something very new for CodeMonkey, given that we've been focusing the last 10 years on elementary and middle school. So now I'm going to be going over each one of these new offerings and why they're good. So first of all, we have tried to stay within the CodeMonkey expertise, which is gamified courses. As you can see with this little picture on the bottom, we've very much similar to our monkey in our coding course. We have this red panda. All of our courses are very interactive. They're exciting. We have the way that all the information that is done in these course that is then translated into reports and progress for teachers to see is seamless and very, very easy to follow. And ultimately, really trying to make sure that the students are motivated so that even if they're first grade, that the course that they're doing, learning how to type, really motivates them to want to get better. And so as we go through it, we cover everything, not just from typing, but we want to teach kids the number keys and the symbols. We want to give them the characters and so much more. Not just this is a full, again, curriculum where we're trying to cover the whole gamut of typing and everything that goes into what you and I may consider natural that we could just do, just getting to a keyboard. But as many of you know, so many of your students are using iPads and tablets and that they may not have that skill yet. And this is what we are able to provide. So I'll just go over within typing. We have a K2 curriculum where we're Roxy the Panda, as I said. We're focused here mainly on providing many, many different activities and many courses to give them the fine motor skills, the beginning stages. K to 2, again, they're very, very young. They're learning how to read. They're getting there to get the basics of coding. And all of the courses, as you can see, um, just as an example, for real time, this is what it will look like in real time. You go through these really interesting and interactive lesson plans, and then built into these lesson plans are the actual games. So this is beginning. This is, I guess, lesson 4 of the first course in typing. So now we press space, and you can't hear because I have my earphones in. But as they're going through, they literally click on them. It goes through. They're going level by level, really focusing on this. And then at the end, you'll get a report after each course that looks something like this, where you see the accuracy, how fast, what was the time that you were able to complete it. So after every single challenge or last level that the students go through, there is a report like that that also gets reported to the teacher to show how their students, and that will demonstrate how they quickly go through. So just we have my keyboard adventure, all fingers aboard, ready, set, type. But again, these are young students. We're just trying to get them the basics, try to get them to understand, to get familiar with the keyboard, which, by the way, isn't always the most exciting thing, but given if they're going to be using CodeMonkey's typing program, it will be much more exciting. When we get to the grades 3 to 6, we have more courses, again, back to 280 activities, and we bring them into this, adventure and this really exciting backdrop and just the characters and everything that they really like. And they go in, and then this stage from grades 3 to 6 is really a deeper dive into the fundamentals of keyboarding. They're going to be learning the letters and basic punctuation, as it says here, in a colorful and stimulating environment. So the idea is that we want our courses to constantly get more and more mature, more and more developed, the characters, the backgrounds, everything that is, again, age appropriate for the students. For a third grade student to be using a first grade course is going to be very immature for them. They're going to fly through it. It's going to be very, very simple. But the idea here is to provide age appropriate, really exciting courses that they like, that are exciting, that provide instant feedback that the teachers can follow very, very easily. And so at this stage, they don't need to be able to write full essays or pages and pages of reports or anything like that. So we're just taking them to that next level. How do they use the punctuation? How do they do other things on the keyboard that they weren't able to do K to 2, where they're learning the fundamentals? And then when we go to grades 7 and 8, this again, we divide it into different courses, and we could go again, if you want to meet with any of our reps afterwards, we have the curriculum broken down. How much time is each lesson? How much time does a course take? What are the lesson plans? Every single course comes with so much material, from lesson plans, video tutorials, automatic grading, everything that I would be able to delve into a full demo. We provide both the student and the teachers there. And so now in 7th and 8th grade, without going into too much of this, we are now getting into much more complicated word structure and sentences. They have to go faster. They're higher expectations. in terms of what they're doing. Instead of working on one line of the type of the keyboard, we're going to work on multiple lines at the same time. They're going to have to practice without looking at the keyboard, and so on and so forth in terms of this curriculum. So we build it up step by step, very, very easily, with excitement, with proper reports to the teachers, and giving also many, and this is very much the CodeMonkey way, which is we don't call it self-paced, but self-directed features, in order that if there was no teacher, that the student would feel very comfortable and successful doing it on their own. I always say, CodeMonkey in the coding part, this is obviously newer, has millions of kids using our program, our curriculum at home without a teacher, but with a teacher in the class with lesson plans and all the automation and things that we provide, it makes it that much better. And the same is true for our new typing courses. And those of you who are also interested in seeing the typing course on your whether you have a trial or not, if you sign up for a trial, the typing curriculum trial will be available on the platform. It's already there. So this is typing K-8 interactive, gamified, really exciting, reports everything for the teachers, great for students and teachers. And definitely, what is the connection between typing and coding? Well, as I focused a lot on the coding piece, was the text-based coding. Typing will absolutely support the student, not just in other subjects like history and writing and everything like that, but also in coding. The better they can type, the more effective and comfortable they'll feel while coding. Um, and digital literacy. So digital literacy is something that we got into roughly a year and a half, 2 years ago. And we were very excited because it was the first time where we took our coding gamification and brought it to another subject area, and it worked perfectly. So digital literacy, which most people here I'm sure understand, coding teaches them how to build the technology that they interact with. Digital literacy covers how to interact with the technology that either you built or that has been built for you. And so we have a few courses now, and we've decided to fully go K-8 because one thing, what we saw is that in computer science standards, maybe, for example, we were 85% aligned with the standards. When we added the digital literacy, we became 100. And that's what it seems to be in most states. Computer science is not just about how to code and writing coding, but also the digital literacy. And that's why we decided, maybe you have a technology class, like I mentioned. Usually those technology classes consist definitely of coding and digital literacy, maybe typing, but our hope, most of them do. And our hope is that just with CodeMonkey, you can cover so many of the topics that you would need in your technology class, which maybe you have to buy products or use free products from a bunch of different sources. That can get complicated. Maybe you're a director of your curriculum and you have a teacher who put it all together and then they leave the next year, and then you're left with sort of a bunch of tools that you don't really know how to piece together. Using CodeMonkey really brings everything together, makes it systematic for you, to easy to launch, especially if you have one of these technology classes where you're covering a number of courses within the technology field. So digital literacy, we already have one full course in digital usage, another full course in digital citizenship. We've created a course in data science and artificial intelligence. And so these courses were also developed similarly, as you can see in this model. Sorry, this always just gets in the way. If I go to one of our courses in digital literacy, you can see here that they are built similar to what you saw before. They could see their progress here. You continue, go into one of these courses. They have interactive lesson plans they have interactive lesson plans where students can answer questions here. This is a teacher perspective, so I can't answer. But as you go through the answer, and then at the end of every single course, we have a bunch of different games that kids can do and they really enjoy. And then there's a quiz at the end of every lesson. So we were mainly from third grade to fifth grade, and we've just absolutely expanded that to cover fully K-8. We cover everything K to do, DigiKind. So we're covering cyberbullying, what's the internet, technology through time. And then as we go older, we're covering more advanced things like cyberbullying in a more advanced way, right? They're introduced to different technologies. So we're very excited about this digital literacy launch because we know it's going to fit a lot of models the way people teach STEM, computer science, technology. And now we have um, typing, digital literacy, and coding, all K-8. And now I have 3 minutes, and I'm sorry, I'm happy to go a little wait over time if people have questions. Um, this is sort of how you can follow it. It's very simple to follow. They could track them. They just assign a lesson. They're onto it. They go level by level. You can easily direct yourself from one lesson plan to the next. And then teachers here, which we didn't go through today, but you could follow the progress, see their responses, see the scores that they've gotten, and then they can have easily um, uh, resources here where they could see the lesson plans and you could see their grading and everything like that. So now with the last few minutes, I appreciate this time. Um, High school computer science curriculum. So as you can see, we've developed a lot in this last year, and these high school courses are absolutely unbelievable. AP Computer Science Principles is going to be approved by the College Board. We have live training July 7th to 10th. If you're interested, you could just reach out to us. It's 4 half-day live online courses, and you'll get AP trained by the person who created our course, and it's going to be really engaging and will enable you to teach not just if you decide CodeMonkey, great. If you decide something else, that's also great. So um, all the courses that we have, they include teacher guides, explanation, interactive lessons, question and answer, projects. There's quizzes and everything. And this is true for all of our courses. Everything we have, we build. Every course has lesson plans, video tutorials, everything that a teacher would need to be successful. So Intro to Computer Science, you can see this is very much how our courses are built out. We have units within units. We have different lessons. Intro to Computer Science is covering the basics like computer science, data science, cybersecurity, and Python in actual programming. That's a year-long course. These are some of the topics covered, which we can go into later. APCSP also is probably the most taken computer science course in high schools in the United States. It's a year long. We fully follow the AP guidelines. So the projects at the end, there's the exam at the end, and the one thing which we do differently than many other courses is we teach it in text-based coding, whereas other companies will teach it in block-based. Which when you come to the final course, the final exam, that's where it may become difficult to jump from block-based to text-based. We have courses in game design where they're doing it in JavaScript, CSS, HTML, learning essential coding concepts to design games, which they'll be able to do. And there's a final project at the end, which is really great. You could see they create animated games. They're practicing problem solving. They're doing so many things that's required in a real development world. Then we get to web development. Again, just another, it's a semester long course, which is covering front-end web development, HTML, CSS, covering also similar concepts, variable loops, functions. There's a project, there's a portfolio project, and we have different topics which are covered where they can design websites that are looking great and are user-friendly. Just a few more slides here. This is obviously a buzzword over here, Intro to AI. It's a semester-long course. We're covering the foundations of AI, which, by the way, Python, which we teach in middle school as well as in high school, is the main topic language used to teach artificial intelligence. But it's not just about developing AI; it's also about the ethical considerations. What is AI? How to use AI? How are the different ways AI is being used? So we're not trying to sort of just take on this buzzword of AI, but we're really trying to teach kids how to develop AI and what are some of the implications and how is AI used practically in this world. And this is some of the things that students will cover in this classes. And so that's the end. I really appreciate. I'm sorry I sort of ran through the last bit. I'm here to answer any questions, but really to summarize, CodeMonkey for the last 10 years has really focused on learning how to use gamification to really get students to be not just excited about coding, but actually learn how to code. And we've expanded that to both typing and digital literacy to be able to provide schools and school districts the ability to really launch a systematic and organized computer science program, which also includes typing and digital literacy. And obviously, to finish it off, we really want to prepare students for high school. And we want students taking high school courses. Not only does adding 5 courses from AP, Intro to Computer Science, Web Development, Game Design, and Intro to AI is a lot of material for your school to have. You can have number of classes with a number of different subjects covering this. This will cover your entire content that needed in your classes. So that's really, really great to have. And this enables us not to just support you K to 8, but now K to 12. So really, thank you all very, very much. I appreciate you giving me the few extra minutes. I also started, a minute or two late. Molly, thank you for joining and answering all the questions. And I'm happy to stay on, let's say, for 2 more minutes to answer any questions that people may have as well. This is a recording, so we will send this out to you. Feel free to share this with your colleagues, with any of the directors of curriculum or STEM or anyone that you feel would be interested in learning about CodeMonkey's offering and how we support schools and districts in their coding and technology needs. So thank you. So we'll wait out 2 minutes. This is always